This is it right here.
Combining a team of reporters, columnists, and commentators.
Don't you ever talk about me!
Are you serious?
Jack Ebling has brought thought-provoking discussion.
What are you doing?
That's a damn coaching mistake!
Opinion.
The customer is the one who decides when the future gets here.
Oh, no!
The ship is on fire!
You have to check the report.
Are you kidding me?
That game was fixed.
And overall infotainment.
I'll take Jim Harbaugh.
What has he done?
Crazy Cootie coming at you.
Quiet, please. In exactly 15 seconds, we'll be on the air.
Thanks, big fella.
Don't you ever come back here again.
No arguments. Those are called ass tunes.
So buckle up.
You talking to me?
It's time for The Drive with Jack Ebling.
Yeah, for some reason or another, you sound a little taller on radio.
Great afternoon, Greater Lansing and beyond, and welcome to The Drive with Jack, the Spotlight Radio Network, our last show of another big week, and we have a ton to talk about with some great guests, Rob. I'm here with Boston Rob, and want to welcome in a guy who, one of the new inductees will be in September in the Michigan State Athletics Hall of Fame, fan favorite, one of the top scorers in school history. We're talking about Kalin Lucas, and one of the best point guards for a coach who's had a lot of them. Congratulations, Kalin, on a terrific honor.
Man, thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Can you tell us how you found out and who delivered the news?
Yeah, Coach Is. He had delivered the news to me. I had found out probably like a week ago.
Yeah.
And he had just called me, man. I was at home, watching TV. Kids was just running around playing. And first Garrett had called me because he like, Coach, trying to get in touch with you.
Garrett Brenningstool? Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, I was in a bad area. So, so I'm like, all right, cool. Then I called Coach, and we kept playing phone tag for a little bit. I guess our phones was messing up. Then once the call went through, and he told me, man, of course I was excited. I was happy. It was perfect timing, and I was super excited about it.
When you think about Tom Izzo, Kalin, this will be his 32nd season as Michigan State's head coach, his 44th on the Spartan staff. Think we'll ever see another guy coaching one Big Ten team for 32 years and be at the same spot drawing a paycheck for 44?
No, I never seen it. That's why he's the Hall of Famer. That's why he is who he is, man. I never seen it. And I was just telling somebody the other day, like, I know a couple years ago they were saying, no, he may only be here for another year or two.
Yeah.
I'm like, nah, I don't see that. I see him staying there still for a few more years for sure.
Yeah.
He's looking good.
I don't know if he's going to be around long enough to coach your kids, but you've got a couple of them who seem like they're pretty good athletes. You have two boys, right?
Yeah, yep. I got an 8-year-old and a 4-year-old.
What are their names?
Never know. He might.
Yeah.
Kalin Jr. We call him KJ.
Okay.
And then my youngest is Crew.
Okay. All right. And are they basketball players, or they have other things that they love?
Yeah, man. My oldest, he do it all. He he hoop. He play football. He doing soccer right now. And then my youngest, he kind of just soaking all the game up. He played a little soccer a couple months ago, and they in the gym. They working for sure.
Are they going to be taller than their old man?
Oh, yeah. I tell them every day, y'all going to be taller than me. So, yeah, for sure.
Well, if they're as quick as you were and as great around the basket, getting shots off that people said, oh, that's a bad, it went in, one of those. And if you don't believe it, if you don't remember Kalin Lucas, or you're too young to have seen him in his prime, just ask Kevin Durant. He'll tell you all about it. And other players that you had a chance to beat for Michigan State. Rob, there's a trivia question that I like to ask, and involves Kalin. You know what Kalin Lucas and Morris Peterson have in common?
You asking me this?
I'm asking my producer right now. Rob, do you know?
Okay.
Of
Do you know?
course I'm not going to know the answer, so go ahead.
They're the only two players that were the leading scorer on two Final Four teams in the state of Michigan. You did it in 2008-9 and then again in 9-10. And Morris did it 10 years before you in 98-99 and then the national championship season. And had you not been injured, Kalen, no fault of your own, I think Tom Izzo would have a second national championship. He'd be going for a third.
Now we talking, of course. Of course. I feel like that, too. I definitely feel like if I don't get hurt, we win a championship, then we run it back again, and we win another one.
Well, you think about that and, the chance to get that done, it was so close, and you were right there. But to have been part of those teams, there are many guys who can say they have played or have been on teams anyway that have gone to back-to-back Final Fours. There are many that can even say they've been part of back-to-back Big Ten champions. But what stands out to you about those teams in that era?
I think what stands out about our team is I feel like we had one of those teams where anybody really could have started. We had one of them teams where we was good from the 1 to the 5, and we just competed so hard at practice to where when the games came, the games was really easy for us. And I shout out all my teammates because we definitely prepared ourselves, and like I said, our summertime, just grinding every day, getting ourselves ready, being on the track, running sprints. During the season, just being locked in. We having 3-hour practices, and we really working and competing, arguing, fighting sometimes, but all that carried on to the game, and the game just felt so easy to where, our run was historical because ain't nobody have us winning.
Right.
Honestly, and for us to do what we did, it was huge for us, and I just felt like we stayed locked in. And one thing Izzo always told us was, you win the first game for us, we'll win that. For sure, I'll win that second one for you. And I think we just prided ourselves on just being focused and locking in and knowing, if we get this first game, that second game we going to win because nobody going to prepare us the way he is going to prepare us, and we going to know every little thing. And one thing about our team is we got 1,000 plays with a whole bunch of different counters to it. So team's not going to be able to stop us. So I think that played a big part.
When you left Michigan State, I could read the list of teams that you played for internationally, but we'd have to stretch the show to 7:30 tonight, Rob, so we couldn't get it all in. Mm-hmm. But when you think about all of the teams you played for, have you ever played in a system with more plays, more structure? Not that you weren't freelancing and running the break, you certainly were, but where you had more to learn than you did at Michigan State?
Nah, hands down, Michigan State. I remember being a freshman, and I remember them giving me the playbook, and it was a huge playbook. I'm like, you know what? I'm better off if we could just let's run through the plays, because me trying to flip through all these pages, I'm not gonna never learn the plays. So it just every play has a counter. So just one play, it may be 7 or 8 different sets that you could run just off of one play. Let's just say it's chess. Chess may have 8 different options to it. So I just felt like that was our advantage.
Kalen, I think back to your arrival at Michigan State from Orchard Lake St. Mary's, right? And Tom Izzo was telling people, he said, wait till you see this guy. He's special. And didn't take you long to prove it. I remember your coming out party at the Palace of Auburn Hills. And then, the matchup with Kevin Durant. What do you remember about that?
Yeah, I just remember, it's crazy. Whenever I think about my freshman year, I just remember me having that afro. I don't know why I was just rocking that old school afro, but it is what it is. It looked good on me, I guess. But, I just remember, that was my coming out party. I felt like the games before that, I was already playing, pretty good, solid, but that game right there, playing at the Palace, playing against, I believe Texas was number 3 or number 4 in the country at that time. DJ Augustine was, they star player. Durant, he wasn't there no more, but, they still had a hell of a team. And I played well. We won, and that's what everyone was saying. That's your coming out party. And I think that just grew my confidence even more, made me more comfortable, and I was ready to go. Yeah.
Durant had a matchup with Michigan State in Madison Square Garden that was memorable too, at about that era. But when you think about the guys on those teams, and everyone remembers the UConn game with that dunk from Darrell Summers. That was one of the all-time dunks in Final Four history. But you had a lot of guys on those teams, and going back to the regional that got you to Ford Field, Goran Sutan played great. He was all-region. And I know how emotional Tom Izzo was about that, Kalen. The two most emotional moments for him, basketball-related, were when they beat Kentucky and made it to the first Final Four back in 1999, and Kentucky was a national champion. And then, of course, the next year they win it all and cut down the nets in Indianapolis. And then when you beat Louisville, that was the first of 2 number 1 seeds that Michigan State beat in 2009. And that sent you back to the Final Four. Michigan State had to deal then about every player who's been here in the program and stayed for 4 years has been to a Final Four, and that was just about to end. And I'll never forget the tears streaming down Travis Walton's cheeks.
Yeah, man, I think that whole Final Four run was crazy, but no, that Louisville game was definitely special, just because all, the hard work we had put in before. And one thing we did, because we knew the Final Four was in Detroit, even before basketball season even started, we were just going to classes and stuff. We used to always everything we did, it had a meaning with a 4. If we took pictures, we had to have 4s. If we was in the classroom, we tried to sit the first 4 rows. Anything we did, the 4, Final Four. That was preached every single day. So I think that Louisville game, we knew, we win this, we going to a Final Four. And, man, Sutan, he played so well. I think he had 19, 20 points. He had a double-double. Our bench players played well. I remember they had 10, 11 rebounds. Darrell played well, shot the ball good from the field. I just think it was a good team win, and nobody had us winning that game. I think they already had a few lottery picks, that was supposed to go, and they was the number 1, number 2 team all year. So for us to do that was special.
Well, then you get North Carolina, and you'd met North Carolina earlier. I was one of the most talented teams of this century. And I don't know who could have beat them, but they were about as good as we've seen for a long time.
No, they was a hell of a team.
Want to talk a little bit about your basketball career, Kalen, after leaving Michigan State and all of the opportunities. People now say, well, someone didn't make it in the pros. It's not like football where you're in the National Football League or maybe you can scrape out a career in Canada, but you can play a long time and do very well financially playing overseas, and you're proof of that.
So after college, the year I came out, it was the lockout year. So
yeah,
that was unfortunate. So the NBA really didn't know when they was going to start. They didn't know, so it was the lockout. So, yeah, I ended up going overseas. My first year I played in Greece. Then the next year I went to Turkey and played. Then from there I went to the G League for a little bit. Then was basically just going back and forth from G League to overseas, G League, NBA, 10 days. Yeah, I've been everywhere. To the Middle East, to Kuwait, Dubai, Italy. Yeah, I've been all over Serbia, Puerto Rico. So yeah, Nicaragua. I've been everywhere. China. So I've been all over playing this game of basketball, and I feel like everywhere I went, no matter what, those principles and things I learned at State stayed with me the whole way through.
All right, I don't know if you're ready to answer this question or not, but I got to ask it. Are you done hooping?
No, I'm not done hooping. I don't think so. I feel like some days I say no, some days I say yes. I just had talked to a coach the other day who was trying to get me to come play this year, but I don't know. I feel like at this point, man,
family too. Everything to consider, right?
Yeah, I hoop every day. I work out every day. I play 5-on-5 Monday through Friday. So it's like I'm still in shape. If somebody called me and it makes sense, it's a possibility. But yeah, right now I'm just enjoying this time with my family.
Sure.
Especially when you be overseas for so long, that's 10 months out the year.
Yeah.
Then you come back home and you only got 1 full month. Then after that, you right back. So I did that a lot. I missed a lot of time from my family, my kids. So it feels good to just sit back and really see what's next.
You ready to do some coaching?
For sure. For sure, I'm ready to coach.
Well, I have to ask you about 2 other games from the 2010 season, okay? One of them that we will never forget was in Chrysler, and a low-scoring game. It was a defensive struggle. And Michigan is leading 56-55. And you've got the ball, and you work your way into the basket, and then you got that pull-up for the game winner. I think 3 seconds to go when that went through the net, or 3.5. And Michigan State wins 57-56. And say there's no better feeling than making your rival's fans sit there and go, oh. What do you remember about that game?
Oh, yeah. No, that was a classic. That's a game that, going down in history. But from that game, I remember it being a physical game. I remember maybe sometime in the first half, I had made a mistake and elbow Lavelle Lucas Perry, and I didn't know what was going to happen with that. If I was I didn't really know. So I just felt like that game was like a real tough-nosed game. I feel like Michigan was playing well, but that last play that Iz drew up, it was just like, it was perfect. It was like, yo, you roam the middle, find a little area if you can, and let's try to get the ball to K somewhere in the middle, because they was like in a zone. I don't know if it was like a 1-3-1 matchup zone. It was real weird, but it was like, yo, just get to the middle, find a ball. So I tried to go to the middle, and somehow I ended up on the wing, and I got a good pass from my teammate, and there was a 1-dribble pull-up, which I work on every single day. And once I did that 1 dribble, I got into my rhythm. I got into where I wanted the shot at. I knew it was in, and it felt great. got us up one, and that's all we had to do was play good defense for 3 seconds, and no, that game felt good, man. I had a lot of friends, a lot of family in the building, and too, you know, the Michigan State rivalry been going on for so long, so for us to win that and keep it going was big.
Well, when you look at your career stats, you think of what they could have been if you'd been able to finish the final season, and you know how many points you scored, where you stand on a lot of lists. But I have to talk about your last game and how bittersweet it was. We know how much you wanted to be in there at the Final Four, especially that Butler game that Michigan State could have and maybe should have won. But you got injured against Maryland. And with the Achilles tear, that's about as bad an injury as an athlete can have. And yet you're there and you see another KL, Corey Lucius, hit an improbable shot to win. The pass came and nearly beheaded a teammate, had to duck underneath, and then he got the ball and shot it for the win over the Terrapins. What do you remember about that, or were you in too much pain to really remember it?
About the shot? No, I was there. I was on the bench. So once I got injured, I ended up finding out I tore my Achilles. Of course, I was hurt. I was sick. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
So once I went back out there, and we rallied back, and once Luce hit that shot, it was like, however I was feeling at the time, it's like, in that moment, I just felt so happy for him because this is somebody that we really competed against each other every single day.
Yeah.
You know, this is somebody that we was together pretty much every day, on the court and off the court, and we really put a lot of work in together. He made me better, I made him better, and for him to make that big shot, I was just super excited and happy for him. And I think me knowing that I tore my Achilles I really didn't feel that until we got back on the bus. Because I was happy.
Adrenaline.
Once we got back on the bus, adrenaline.
Yeah.
Once I got back on the bus, sat down, then my family started calling me. That's when it came back man, I tore my Achilles. I'm out 6 to 8 months.
Yeah. Kalen, thanks so much for joining us. Really appreciate it. Always great to talk with you. I look forward to seeing you on campus. It'll be Grind Week. You'll be up for that, and then for this is the Eastern Michigan weekend, and you're going to be inducted along with some other great Spartans, including our next guest, Lindsey Bowen. She was a phenomenal shooter, so it'll be great to have 2 Michigan State guards. They're being inducted, 2 of the best ever to wear green and white. Thanks so much for joining us.
No doubt, man. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
We're going to stay right here, and we do have Lindsey Bowen on, the pride of Dansville. Lindsey, how are you?
I'm doing awesome. How are you doing?
I guess this is Michigan State Point Guard Day or Guard Day, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great day, isn't it?
It is. It absolutely is. And we think about players who played in national championship games. Of course, Kalen did it in 2009. You did it in 2005. With that team of Joanne P. McCauley's. And the game I will never forget, because I was sitting next to Mick McCabe of the Free Press, and he had his story all but done. And you're playing Tennessee. And Tennessee is having its way. And a lot of people expected, hey, they're Pat Summitt and the Vols, and they're going to win, of course. And then they forgot to tell you and Kristen Haney and Liz Shimmick, and here come the Spartans. And it went from, this is going to be a respectable game. Wait a minute, this is going to be a close game. Wait a minute. Michigan State's going to win this game. What do you remember about that night and advancing to the national title?
Oh, man, what a night, what a game. When you were talking about it, it reminded me that so many of people that I talked to after the game had shut their TV off. They're like, they're going to lose anyway,
Right.
And, down 16 with what, like 12 under maybe 10 minutes?
10 to
it might
go.
have been 8 minutes left.
Yeah.
I don't know. Something like that, crazy. And we came back and beat them. And, man, what a game. That was one of probably the best moment that I've ever had in my Spartan career, beating Pat Summitt and going to the national championship game.
Yes.
Goodness, that was so fun.
Do you remember, Lindsay, going through the greeting line after that game? Were the Tennessee players too shell-shocked to say anything? Did Pat Summitt say anything or give you a glare? Or how come you didn't come to Tennessee? Or what was that like?
You know what? I honestly do not even remember. That was the game that I literally jumped on Liz Shimmick's back.
That's right.
And they snapped
classic
a photo. And that's the classic photo. I love that photo, and that's exactly what I thought about when I was young. I would dream and imagine and visualize, like, when we won championships and when we won big games, I was going to celebrate with my teammates and jump on their back. And it's like so crazy how it came true, So I don't remember the handshake line at the end. I just remember being super happy.
Well, I'm glad that you two had it worked out where you jumped on her back instead of the other way around.
Yes, I know. She was like right there, and she's always had my back. So I was like, okay, she's a really strong girl. So that was it.
Rob, we talk about great guard combinations, right? And Michigan State, you think of Cleaves and Bell, and there are others throughout the years. But pretty tough to beat Haney and Bowen. Can you talk about your special relationship with Kristen Haney, another local product from Mason, and all the things that the two of you got done at Michigan State?
Oh, man, so much fun playing with Crit. And, just two small-town girls who want to work hard and win championships and dream big. And that's what we did. It took a few years to kind of get us there. My freshman year and sophomore year, we were kind of building the program. And then once that junior year hit for me, and it was her senior year, my goodness, we went through so many really tough games in the non-conference and beat a few really good teams to really give us that confidence to push us all the way through. So Crit's been, an amazing friend. She's one of my, greatest friends I'll ever have, and she's always supportive, and we're always communicating and continuing that relationship. So it was so much fun to play with her. And I remember when I was young, I competed against her, and I was like, oh my goodness, I do not want to compete against her again. I'd love to play with her.
Yeah.
So I'm happy that really, came true.
I was asked not too long ago, Lindsay, to rank the top 5 three-point shooters, long-distance shooters, in Michigan State history. And I said, well, of course, you've got to include Sean Respert. He is the all-time leading Big Ten scorer in conference play, and more than 45% accuracy from deep. And then you think about Bryn Forbes setting the Big Ten record for threes in a game. There was a guy named Kirk Mans, who was a phenomenal three-point shooter, and Scott Skiles before that. But I said, one of the best, and you have to include in this group, is Lindsey Bowen. And when you think about all of the threes and the plays that were drawn to get you open looks for three-point shots, what would you advise someone now who may be just really starting to get into basketball or thinks they have some special ability to become a great shooter, a consistent shooter, the best way to maximize their talents?
Oh, yeah, great question. So no doubt about it, you have to get on that court and you have to shoot a lot of shots. So I started playing basketball when I was 5. Wrote a mini contract. Lindsey Bowen, will play basketball at Michigan State University when I was 10 years old. Gave it to my mom. She put it in her purse, and then I went to work on my dream, and it came true. But I was always out in the driveway with my dad, shooting hoops, and we had a paved driveway with the lines and a full court. So was always out there every evening that I could. Even in the winter, Christmas Day, I'm like, Dad, come on, let's go outside. And we'd bundle up and we'd shoot out there. And even when the gym was dark in high school, I'd go into the gym and I'd shoot, get better, right? And so it takes a lot of reps. I'd say to master your craft, it's like 10,000 hours. There's a lot of practice that goes into it, a lot of reps. And so for any young girl out there, get in the gym, get better every single day. That's what I would say.
We've seen some great shooters, Lindsay, with unique practice regimens, things they do on a consistent basis. Probably Steph Curry's is the most famous, where he starts right under the basket and then he keeps backing up. And, the ball's hitting the rim. That's not good enough. They've got to be pure. Can you talk about how you prepared for big games, or what you really want to concentrate on for your shooting?
Yeah, I think it's just putting into play what you've practiced over and over and over, and just knowing that you have the good form. You've done it so many times, and just being confident when you go out there to shoot the ball when you're open. Coach P gave me the green light, and that was pretty cool. So when I was open, I was going to shoot the ball, and like I said, you don't just become a really good shooter overnight. It takes a lot of reps and a lot of practice, and a lot of the correct reps as well. So I don't know. I think just starting young and working on my game all the time really helped me. Coming from Dansville, there had to be doubters, people who said, "Well, yeah, she's a really good player, but she can really shoot, but is she gonna be able to get her shot off? What's it gonna be like at the next level with more athleticism? All of those things." How much did that motivate you? Oh, 100%, 1,000% even. I mean, I had it from when I was, young. When I was young, a lot of people doubted and said, "Oh, she's too short, she's too slow, she can't, go big time." And I was just like, "Okay, well, you can say that. That's okay. That's not going to affect me. I'm just going to go to work, and I'm going to prove that I can make it, and that I am a really good player." And so that really helped me, motivate me, push me, it challenged me. And ultimately I used that as, fuel for my fire to really ignite me, and just had a really, huge hunger for getting better and just making my dream come true. So your first season at Michigan State, would that have been 2001, 2002? 2002, 2003. 2002, 2003. Yep. Okay. Yep. So your first year there, how long did it take you to know, I can do this, I got this? Oh goodness, you know what? I'm not going to lie with this one. I'll be very honest. When I stepped on campus as a freshman, even before school started in the summer, I would work out with the girls, and I felt really good. Just knowing that I fit and that I belong, and was just very confident in myself, and just knowing that all those hours in practice that I put in was going to pay off. And so it's kind of like, that's what I had been waiting for forever. And so when I got that opportunity, I never looked back. I was like, this is what I want. This is what I've been dreaming about since I was 10 years old. So yeah, it was awesome. Great memories. We just had a conversation with Kalen, and his coach back in 2007 is still hanging around. And you played for Joanne, and then we had Susie Merchant here for a long time, and now Robin Freilich. So there's been a passing of the torch twice. When you look at Michigan State basketball now and the style they play with all the pressing and all the three-point shooting, that have been a good system for Lindsey Bowen? Yeah, I believe so, yes. I think Robin's doing an amazing job. The girls and the team are in really good hands with her and the coaching staff, and they're doing really good things. So it's exciting to see where their future is going to go, and I'm backing them up 100%. Tell us a little bit about your career after leaving Michigan State and the opportunities you had, not just to play, but to teach the game. Yeah, absolutely. So when I graduated in 2006, I actually tried out for the New York Liberty and got cut. So then I went overseas, and I played one season overseas. And when I came back, 2007, I made the team. So I played for New York Liberty for 1 year, and I also played overseas for 4 seasons. And then I think it was in 2010, I stopped playing and got into coaching. So I I kind of bounced around. I was a video coordinator at first, but then I got my first coaching job as an assistant coach and coached for about, I think it was 11 seasons total. Most recently, I was at Campbell University as an assistant coach for 8 years. And then 2 summers ago, I got out of college coaching and started my mindset business. So I now work, still involved with athletes and with sports, but I work on the mental side of the game with the athletes instead of the physical side. So I think that's a huge need in the game right now as well.
Lindsay, you talk about playing 1 season with the Liberty and then the 4 years overseas. Was that the point where you made more money playing basketball overseas than you could make in the United States?
Yes, for sure. Yeah, you can. It's tax-free money overseas.
Yeah.
And, and so you can, depending on where you go and what team and country you play in, you can definitely make a lot more. So.
What about the mental aspect? You mentioned what you've gotten into with this and how important this is. This isn't just mechanics. This is mental mechanics. We just had Ozan Barish, the Michigan State tennis star, on not long ago, talking about how important that is and how players can beat themselves or elevate themselves that way. What do you stress?
Yeah. So the biggest thing is when athletes get in their head, right? They make a mistake. They're scared of coach yelling at them. They get in their head. It takes them out of their game. I'm really teaching tools and strategies to help them get out of their head and back into the game quicker. So being a more resilient player, being a tougher player, building that confidence, increasing your focus before games, all those types of things that really strengthen your mindset to become the player that you want to be, to reach your full potential. So many athletes don't reach their full potential because they let their mind or their brain hold them back. And so I unlock those tools with the athletes that really, really help them flourish and become the best they can be.
So your audience, these individual players who are contacting you, are these teams that want you to come in and work with their athletes?
Absolutely, 100%. It's both, yes.
Both.
So I work with one-on-one athletes. I usually start around 13 years old, so about 7th grade, and work through middle school and high school athletes, and I've had a few college athletes as well. But I also work with high school and college teams, and so I've worked with a handful of teams as well. So I'm in my 2nd year in my business, and it's growing really fast, so I'm very happy.
You mentioned that age where you would start. Is there a point, Lindsay, where before that you want kids to have fun, to enjoy the game, maybe develop some things before they really start thinking about the serious aspects of career development?
Yeah, I think so. When they're 13 years or younger, it's like just go out there, play the game, have fun with your teammates, and get better, right? And so 13 comes around, you're getting to know the sport a little more, you're getting to know yourself a little more, and I think it's just an easier age to kind of teach some of the tools and strategies that I work with the athletes on. But anything younger than that, it's like you just wait a few years, and then you might need me on down the line. But yes, for the younger ones, just play and have fun right now.
One more thing about skill development. When players are very young, do you want them to use a small ball? Do you want them to use a low rim? Do you want them to learn to gradually be able to handle it and just go on? Or are there special tools that you use?
I think like when I was young, I was shooting on a 10-foot hoop, and I had to shoot it granny style, like underhand, because I couldn't get it there. you know. But I think as you age, you build strength, and you might want to start with a smaller ball at first if you're really tiny, but eventually you'll get there, and you'll get that strength to get it up there, and just to keep practicing, keep trying, persevere, push through. So.
Can you give us a website or contact information for people who might want to take a look at what you have to offer?
Yeah, you can shoot me an email, or you can call me. I don't have an actual website right now.
Okay.
I have a one-page flyer that you could. It's a mindset flyer. It's on social media. My Instagram is @CoachBowen2020. and even on Facebook. You could find me on Facebook. Just search my name and add me as a friend. Or, you could dblins20@hotmail.com is my email.
DBLins, Linds?
Yep.
Okay.
DBLins, 20, the number 20 @hotmail.com.
Okay.
It stands for Dream Big, Lins.
Oh, perfect. Perfect.
DB Lins. Yep, 20.
So we will see you back here in second week in September. Did you get a call from Michigan State on this? How did you find out that you were going to be part of this class?
Yes, I did. I got a call from Michigan State, and they told me I was going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame, and she was so matter-of-fact when she told me. I almost didn't believe her, and I almost didn't know how to take it. I was like, really? Oh, wow. Like, I was so shocked. So what an honor. I'm so humbled and thankful and grateful for, my experience at Michigan State. And like I've been telling people, I dreamed of playing at Michigan State. That was my dream school, but I never dreamt that I'd be a Hall of Famer. So this is just really, really cool. Especially to be alongside Crit and Liz.
Yeah.
And Kalisha Keene as well. That's really, really, really special. So
great to talk with you, Lindsay, and say hi to your mom for me. She's still my all-time favorite school secretary.
Yes,
over at Cornell, right?
Yeah, exactly.
We will see you in September.
Sounds good. Yes, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Lindsay Bowen, number 20. DB Lynn's Dream Big. That's what she did, Rob. We will be back, and we're going to talk with Deshaun Tate. And Deshaun Tate loves him some MSU point guards, and guards and shooting guards. So we'll have a conversation with him about that and much more. Summer basketball. And Tom Crawford is going to join us a little bit later. And then Jay Green will be in studio. Had dinner with Jay Green last night, Rob, and the Fabulous Flying Nesses over at One North. We had the private room over there, where we watch the hockey games. So that was great fun after the Lansing Promise golf outing. We'll be right back on The Drive with Jack.
Jack Ebling here with my good friend Matt Sloan at Graph of Okemos. Spring is here, and so is good news for lease customers.
You got that right, Jack. Pretty exciting news, both at Nissan and Chevy. We have a lease pull ahead starting right now. So if you're bored with your lease, too many miles, close to too many miles, you just want to get out because of a high payment, bring it in. We'll get you out of your lease and get you into something more exciting.
Stop and see Matt and the gang at Graph of Okemos. They're making friends.
So, it's been a while since you've had your jewelry cleaned and inspected, right? Where will you go and who will you trust with your most valuable and treasured heirlooms? At Meadowar Jewelers' 4 locations in Lansing, Okemos, Jackson, and Portage, jewelry isn't just our job, it's our passion. Each and every piece entrusted in our care is thoroughly inspected by our trained staff against damage or normal wear. And we offer you, our customer, the highest level of quality on repairs and custom designs. Whether it's worn out prongs, channels, or shanks, it's all handled with incredible care. Meadowar Jewelers in Lansing, Okemos, Jackson, and Portage want to help you preserve your memories and offer you options on creating new ones. Come in today for the cleaning and inspection of your jewelry. We continue to work hard every day to earn your confidence and trust.
Dean Transportation is looking for compassionate people to join our team of school bus drivers and attendants. Visit deanjobs.com to see all openings. Dean Transportation provides paid training to obtain a commercial driver's license, increased starting pay, comprehensive benefits, and flexible schedules with no weekend shifts. No experience needed. Apply today at deanjobs.com and train for back to school season. That's DEAN jobs.com.
Jeremy, I gotta ask, how do you always know where to go on the weekends?
Easy. One North. It's basically my cheat code.
What's going on there?
Live music every Friday and Saturday night, DJ trivia during the week. There's always something happening, Jack.
So I don't have to keep texting you for plans?
Nope. Just follow all 3 One North locations on social media. Lineups, times, everything's right there.
That might actually simplify my life.
That's the goal. When you're looking for something to do, One North's the move.
All right. See you there this weekend.
Are you passionate about college sports? Foster Swift Sports Talk is your go-to podcast dedicated to addressing the hottest topics in college athletics, including recruiting practices, NIL, the trade portal, collectives, and revenue generation.
Join us as we bring you insights from student athletes, college head coaches, administrators, and other industry leaders as they share their experiences in this rapidly changing arena.
Our mission is to share information and help educate student athletes, parents, coaches, and other stakeholders with the knowledge, resources, and strategies they need to make informed decisions and maximize each college athlete's potential for long-term success. Check out our latest episode. We're joined by Michigan State basketball players Andre Hudson and David Thomas to discuss their playing careers and also being parents to elite athletes. Like and subscribe to our YouTube and Facebook pages to watch all of our episodes, or you can give us a listen on any of your favorite podcasting platforms by simply searching Foster Swift Sports Talk. Until next time, I'm your host, Dave Russell.
Just minutes from Petoskey, Harbor Springs, and Mackinac City, golfers will find Northern Michigan's hidden gem on Maple River Road in Brutus, the Hidden River Golf and Casting Club and Travato Restaurant.
The course offers one of Northern Michigan's most memorable golf experiences, and Travato completes your day with exceptional dining. For tee times and dinner reservations, go to hiddenrivergolf.com.
That's hiddenrivergolf.com.
Welcome back. It is The Drive with Jack, the Spotlight Radio Network. Jack Ebling here with my producer, Boston Rob. Rob, 88 degrees. Doesn't feel that hot out there. It's been so hot. It was in the mid-90s for almost an entire week. So felt a little bit better about that. And I'm not bothered by this haze that came in.
Wow.
Played golf through that yesterday.
Yeah, I was going to say it makes it a little worse with all the smoke because of the fires from our friends from up north, so everybody be safe out there. Yeah. But, yeah.
Didn't
hopefully
I made more
disappearing
putts than
shortly
I have in a long
here.
time, so that's good news.
Yes.
I want to welcome in Deshaun Tate. He is our Lansing-bred, Atlanta-based basketball savant. It's Tate's Take Hoops, where basketball lives. Deshaun, Michigan State welcoming in 7 members to the 2026 class of the MSU Athletics Hall of Fame, including a couple of basketball players that you know well, Kalen Lucas and Lindsey Bowen. Your thoughts on them?
Yeah, phenomenal run, I believe, 2005 for
Yes.
Lindsey Bowen and
Yes.
Michigan State's women's team, where I think both of the teams went to the Final Four that year, I think.
That's right. That's right.
And then certainly Kalen Lucas, man. I mean, I sent you this in a text message, and I'll repeat it over and over again anytime I'm ever asked, you know, some of my favorite all-time kind of underrated, or I wouldn't go as far as saying underappreciated, because I think they're very appreciated, but just so many names, especially with, you know, Michigan State's point guard, PGU, or anything like that, but certainly predicates his success on his point guard play. And I mean, too many names sometimes I think gets said, uttered before Kalen Lucas's name come up. One of my all-time favorite Spartans. And I'm not talking about all-time top 50. I'm talking about probably one of my top 10 favorite. Maybe not best or whatever.
Yeah.
Favorites, though, is Kalen Lucas. Love that dude. And he was just everything that, you know, Michigan State was really all about. And he was certainly a leader, and a lot of times carried that team on his back. And that started really his freshman year that I can remember. Him and Chris Allen, Darrell Summers, all those guys coming in together. Wasn't necessarily the most highly touted player either. So shout out to Kalen Lucas, man, and of course to Lindsey Bowen as well. Very well deserved. And I think she was from where? Was she from like Granville or
Dansville?
I can't remember where Lindsey Bowen. Dansville.
Yeah.
One of the Bills.
Yeah.
But congratulations to them both.
Yeah. You know, it's funny, Deshaun. Sometimes you get breaks. Good breaks, bad breaks. In 2009, Michigan State got a big break because they were going to play Kansas, and I didn't like that matchup. And Kansas lost to Northern Iowa.
Northern Iowa.
Right?
Ali Farouk Mandesh. How about that for a name?
Very good. Very good. And so then Michigan State has a layup in the next round and then goes on, and next thing you know, they're beating 2 number 1 seeds, and they're in the national championship game. And the next year, they get one of the worst breaks imaginable when their two-time scoring leader, a guy who was definitely carrying the team and as good as any player in the conference, and Kalen Lucas, tears his Achilles against Maryland. Corey Lucius hit that incredible shot to win the game, but then they get to the Final Four against Butler, and I have to believe that was not a vintage Duke team in 2010. Michigan State went up against Gordon Hayward shorthanded and should have won that game if they'd called the obvious foul, that slap I can still hear on Draymond Green's wrist. And if Kalen Lucas had been in that game, we'd be talking about a third national championship possibility this year for Izzo.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that there's a couple things there. That shot almost didn't even get to Kalen Lucas. Draymond Green was trailing and in the way and had to duck.
Yeah.
If you remember that
That's
shot
right.
that went over to Kalen Lucas. I'm sorry.
Corey Lucius.
Corey Lucius.
Delvon Rowe had to duck.
I mean,
we called it the Delvon duck. Draymond threw the pass, and Delvon, I don't know, he just last minute he ducked. And the ball, I think it took a half inch off his hair.
Yeah, but I'll say this too, though, Jack. I mean, listen, I mean, those days of just Spartan glory and everything else, I mean, was just wonderful, and going, back-to-back Final Fours and everything else. And I remember that Kansas team. I remember you talking about, obviously, Northern Iowa, and then, of course, the year after, Gordon Hayward. It certainly would have helped Michigan State. I think they went scoreless in terms of field goal percentage, for like half of the second half or something like that, something crazy. But that was just, a really good, maybe not a great game, but just, what basketball used to be. It's defense and rebounding and everything else. And I think Michigan State's slowly getting back to it. And I'll say this last thing, too, though, Jack, is that ironically and coincidentally enough, that was the last time Final Four was in Detroit, and we got another one coming up this year with a really good Michigan State team. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to put it. It's a great opportunity for a very good team, and we don't know yet if it will max out, if it will get to truly great or exceptional or elite, but the pieces are there. It's not going to have to be something that Tom Izzo manufactures out of thin air. He has material with this team, and if these guys can play together and stay healthy. But one thing, Deshaun, when you have depth, it doesn't make you injury-proof, but it sure helps your chances, unless you're talking about an injury to Jeremy Fears. This team has a lot of pieces. If they have a guy with a turned ankle, or he gets mono or something like that, it's not the end of the season.
Yeah, no, they definitely got the depth. And you start looking at Tom Izzo's teams, and I do think that this one is going to be ranked up there pretty high. Everything I'm seeing, top 6, most certainly top 10, possibility of top 5. None of that matters until the end of the year, of course.
Right.
And I don't know if there's necessarily pressure or whatever else, but Jeremy Fears didn't come back to school just because, that he maybe didn't get a ton of guarantees in the NBA draft. He wants to win a national championship. And outside of, a few others being, Drew Neitzel and maybe, Cassius Winston, he's one of those ones that can get to that, take the team to the promised land. And, they're going to need some help in the front court where they missed a couple of guys, Kohler and Cooper, but it's more than possible of being something that can happen. I'm really looking forward to this team because with the experience and the guys that got coming in, guys that got coming back, and the depth of so many different positions, I really like the chance. I really do.
Do you think, Deshaun, that with the Final Four at Ford Field, there's going to be a lot of pressure on the mayor of Detroit to deliver a championship?
Yeah, I don't know.
Your sister.
I haven't asked that. Yeah, I haven't asked that question yet. I was hoping to have that question answered last week. Weather didn't permit in Georgia. Thought I was going to have a chance this weekend. So far, weather haven't permitted in Georgia or in Michigan. So it's going to have to be on ice for a little bit. We're still going to have to try and figure out some ways to get her to come in and talk to the team and whatever. But she won't have the only one under a little bit of pressure. We talked a little bit about Jeremy Fears, maybe Tom Izzo, especially coming off of a year where Michigan won a national championship. There's a little bit of pressure there, just a little.
Our plan next week, Deshaun, includes interviews with Carson Cooper and Jackson Kohler. Coop with the Grizzlies and Jax with the Utah Jazz in summer workouts and summer league. What are you hearing? What have you seen? They both had moments.
Yeah, I saw moments. I did. I saw some flashes, some really good things, and I saw. I remember one particular play. I saw Carson Cooper make a move and go to the rim, and the agility, the way he torqued his body, not twerk, that's a different word, but torqued his body in the air and went in and got the basket, got the and one, and I was like, man, has he shrunk? Is he a guard? He's making guard moves, and I thought that was really good. And again, same thing with Kohler. I had a chance to see him, down in the post and doing some things and stepping out, hitting the jump shot and whatever else. And I think that's good, nothing promising. But again, whether it's in the NBA or playing professional somewhere else, I'd like to think that someone is going to add a really good player and good character to their roster.
All right, a couple of NBA things for you quickly. From what you've seen in Summer League, would you rather have A.J. Debinces? Would you rather have Darren Peterson? Saw a play that didn't work out well for Cameron Boozer the other night. What do you think in terms of this rookie class and what you've seen in Vegas?
It hasn't changed much. I guess the first answer to your question, kind of the follow-up question, because I'm very difficult. What team am I?
Yeah, right.
And things like that. But nonetheless, what type of player do I need or whatever. I think complimentary player, strictly complimentary, obviously signs and fingers going to point to Carlos Boozer on that. But, you can't deny the potential and the ability that he already has in the number one pick being Debinces. And then you can see the talent oozing in Peterson. And everything that I had heard leading up to Summer League and, to the draft and everything else, there was reason shown as to why some people believed, especially if not in this year's class. Meanwhile, in this year's class, why Caleb, Wilson is to be not only the number one pick in the draft, but also a lot of people's front runner going into the season based off of what he's shown of being the rookie of the year as well. So I think that there's just a lot of good things that we've seen pretty much from all these guys. But I will say this real quick, though, Jack, is that, there is a narrative around Summer League, much like Moneyball, as much as I absolutely, positively love everything that Desmond Ferguson has done with Moneyball, is that it is just Moneyball and it is just Summer League. But I do have a certain level of respect for it. Yeah. Because when people don't play well, people are going to say, oh, well, that's just Moneyball. And when guys don't, do play well, it's like, oh, well, or I'm sorry, the Summer League or Moneyball. Or, oh, it was just the Summer League or Moneyball. But it reminds me a little bit of the NFL preseason, where I can appreciate it because those guys that they're playing up against, sure, they're not the best talent or the guys you're going to be playing up against in the NBA and everything else, but they are guys that are looking to get their families fed. They are guys that are looking, trying to do everything they can. They picked up Darren Peterson 94 feet, one guy did, for the entire night in his first game. He's looking for a job, and if he don't get it with the team he's representing, then someone else, I'm sure, saw it. So they're going to get everybody's best shot with the big target on their back, and I appreciate both of those leagues for what they are.
What did you make of the Pistons trade acquiring Gary Harris, who's been around the league? I don't want to call him a journeyman, but he's certainly well-traveled at this point. And he's been a reliable three-point shooter and a very good defender. But Detroit giving up Karis LeVert, who had an explosion in the playoffs, but otherwise pretty quiet for much of the season, and Marcus Sasser. Do you think Gary Harris can be part of the solution for the Pistons?
Part of it, sure. I mean, you needed to look for some, especially ever since Malik Beasley was out of the door.
Yeah.
I think you really needed to look forward to some shooting, and of course you have Duncan Robinson, of course. But for a guy who's a specialist in that department, but not gonna also be asked to probably provide you with a whole lot else. Also, there's Red Velvet, who has some familiarity not only with the Pistons.
Kevin Herter,
extended, correct. Kevin Huerter. And then now also adding John Collins, 2 former Hawks at the same time. So there's some familiarity and some chemistry there. But I do think with Gary Harris' ability to play defense, will he be the instant offense that people think that, and me included, by the way, that Karis LeVert is or whatnot? Maybe not. But more Spartans on the roster than Wolverines. Getting rid of a Wolverine and adding another Spartan is always a good thing in my book, but definitely they could use his jump shooting ability.
Are you convinced that John Collins will be an upgrade over Tobias Harris?
I think it depends on what John Collins you get. If you get the John Collins that we've been seeing with the Clippers and Utah Jazz after his time in Atlanta, then probably not. But if you get the John Collins that was in Atlanta, and especially knowing what it's like to play with a ball-dominant guard that gets a lot of attention from defenders, then absolutely. That lob is there all night long, and I think that it will be for John Collins. So, at the end of the day, he's got to give the production, and Tobias Harris gave some production that we feel like, honestly, we hadn't seen in some time. Even though he was consistent when he was in Philly and this place or that place, it kind of feels like he went back to that older Tobias Harris that we weren't sure if we could really rely upon as much. So I think that there is that possibility there for sure.
Deshaun, where does LeBron James play next season?
If I'm scratching my bald head here, I don't know. I did see something which I don't, believe in all the things that everybody's just looking for something that kind of initiates where he's going. Wanting to pass the torch down maybe to someone else or whatever. Does that mean, the Timberwolves? I don't know. As everybody knows, Anthony Edwards, potential future face of the NBA. But I really do believe, Jack, it's ultimately down to just the last 2 teams. The same teams that I thought it was going to be coming in before he, announced that he was not going to be with the Lakers anymore. And that's the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Golden State Warriors. If I had to say one or the other right now, I think it's just that 50-50 for me. I can't put a finger on it, but I think it is down to those 2.
What about this pitch now that Pat Riley has made, and apparently Giannis is in this, and Bam? Can you imagine a front line of Bam Adebayo, who just scored 83 points in the game, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and LeBron James? Maybe it's a little up in age, but that's a lot of stats and a lot of wins in those 3 guys if they could pull it off.
And a lot of muscles, by the way, might I add. And so, no, I can only imagine such things. I don't know. I've heard I've heard Michael Beasley and a couple others tell some stories. Just Google the LeBron James cookie story in Miami. And so you might, after listening to that, you might not think that there's a possibility in any way, shape, or form that he'll become a Miami Heat on that roster again. But I don't know. Everybody's throwing out their best pitch. I think the decision has already been made. I think he just hasn't announced it. But I think he knows where he's going. He knows what he's going to do, and obviously he has to put the pen to the paper and all the other stuff that goes along with it. I think he does also love stretching out this decision again, and got everybody, on pins and needles waiting to find out.
If he could,
where he's
go ahead.
Where he's going to be playing. And forgive me because lightning and thunder in the background as it's storming here, but I think the decision is already made. We're just waiting on it, and I think it's going to be one of those 2.
If he did go to Golden State, Deshaun, and team with Steph Curry and Draymond Green, his buddy, and if they could turn back the clock and get another championship for Golden State and Steve Kerr, what would that say about a guy who's able to do it in so many different situations with so many different franchises? It's not like he's going to teams that are number 1 seeds in their division. I mean, Golden State struggled mightily last year as a play-in team. And, Miami, obviously he had some guys coming in with him, with Bosh and joining Dwayne Wade there. But when you think about his place in NBA history, is there anything left to prove?
To prove, to me, no. But to him, sure, there may be. I mean, what he actually wants to prove might not even be possible. He may not be able to even play that long.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. I think that would be pretty cool to see him, you know, team up with those guys. And, I mean, for what it would say for him, for his career, what it would mean for Draymond, for Steph, you know, Golden State, and just everybody in that market and everything like that. I mean, I remember coming on this show with you for the last, like, 2 or 3 years, I think more like 2, and you asking me, will Steph Curry ever get another world championship? Yeah. And I was always extremely hesitant to say, I really don't know, but I think it's possible. Mm-hmm. You asked me about a couple other guys, and I was like, yeah, I think that's it. I think they're finished. But this is one of the reasons why I believe such a thing, because Golden State knows what they're doing. I certainly think it's a bust, or, you know, boom or bust type of season, championship or bust type of season, if they're able to land LeBron. And I think that they're more than possible of being able to accomplish such things if they're able to land them.
What would a year playing under LeBron and watching and learning from LeBron do for Yaxel Lendeberg with the Warriors?
Yeah, great things, I think. Anybody playing under LeBron or behind LeBron or whatever the case, and all those things, you know, I think that... you know, the city being able to sit under the teaching and learn some of the little nuances of the game, maybe things you never thought of, and or you know, just all the things, really. I think that it does something great for him, a guy that you're guarding directly in practice each and every single night, you know, or in practice every day outside of games, and just even if you're not defending him, even just being around him, being around his aura, being able to pick his brain, and all of those different things, I think it'll do great things for a guy who hasn't even stepped on an NBA floor to play a meaningful basketball game yet. I think that would be huge for someone like him. And he's a big personality. LeBron is, too.
Yeah.
And Draymond, obviously. And without LeBron, I think that, you know, just having the other guys around is going to be really good for Yaxel Lendeberg, and give something for Colin Sexton, as you know, who every single time he was traded, LeBron ends up being out of the door to the team that Colin Sexton was traded to. I think that there's a little bit of enviousness there, too, and can't blame him for that.
Deshaun, have a great weekend. I hope that at some point this summer we will get you back here. There's an olive burger waiting for you, so just let us know when you're coming in.
I will most certainly do that. Thanks so much, Jack, and Boston Rob, for having me.
Deshaun Tate. We will be right back, and Bluebelly Tom Crawford joins us, and in less than 2 weeks, we will be back from Chicago, the Big Ten kickoff meetings, and then it all begins. We're going to have our first Jack and Tom Green and Blue preview podcasts coming from Chicago, from the Hilton Hotel. So looking forward to that and much, much more coming up on The Drive with Jack.
Just minutes from Petoskey, Harbor Springs, and Mackinac City, golfers will find Northern Michigan's hidden gem on Maple River Road in Brutus, the Hidden River Golf and Casting Club and Travato Restaurant.
The course offers one of Northern Michigan's most memorable golf experiences, and Travato completes your day with exceptional dining. For tee times and dinner reservations, go to hiddenrivergolf.com.
That's hiddenrivergolf.com.
Dean Transportation is looking for compassionate people to join our team of school bus drivers and attendants. Visit deanjobs.com to see all openings. Dean Transportation provides paid training to obtain a commercial driver's license, increased starting pay, comprehensive benefits, and flexible schedules with no weekend shifts. No experience needed. Apply today at deanjobs.com and train for back to school season. That's DEAN jobs.com.
Jeremy, it's finally patio season.
About time. And not just any patio, Amy. One North Patios.
We're talking sunshine, cold drinks, and that perfect I should have left work early vibe.
Lansing, East Lansing, Jackson, each one has got its own patio personality.
Whether it's brunch in the sun, happy hour with friends, or late night cocktail under the lights.
It just hits different outside.
Great food, craft drinks, and plenty of space to kick back.
So grab your crew and claim your spot.
One North Kitchen and Bar, your table's waiting. outside.
Let's go.
So, it's been a while since you've had your jewelry cleaned and inspected, right? Where will you go and who will you trust with your most valuable and treasured heirlooms? At Meadowar Jewelers' 4 locations in Lansing, Okemos, Jackson, and Portage, jewelry isn't just our job, it's our passion. Each and every piece entrusted in our care is thoroughly inspected by our trained staff against damage or normal wear. And we offer you, our customer, the highest level of quality on repairs and custom designs. Whether it's worn out prongs, channels, or shanks, it's all handled with incredible care. Meadowar Jewelers in Lansing, Okemos, Jackson, and Portage want to help you preserve your memories and offer you options on creating new ones. Come in today for the cleaning and inspection of your jewelry. We continue to work hard every day to earn your confidence and trust.
Jack Ebling here with my good friend Matt Sloan at Graph of Okemos. Spring is here, and so is good news for lease customers.
You got that right, Jack. Pretty exciting news, both at Nissan and Chevy. We have a lease pull ahead starting right now. So if you're bored with your lease, too many miles, close to too many miles, you just want to get out because of a high payment, bring it in. We'll get you out of your lease and get you into something more exciting.
Stop and see Matt and the gang at Graph of Okemos. They're making friends.
Welcome back. It is The Drive with Jack, the Spotlight Radio Network. Jack Ebling here with my producer, Boston Rob. Appropriate music for our next guest. Tom Crawford, Bluebelly Tom, my broadcast partner since March of 2002 on radio, going all the way back to the sports page with Jack and Tom. Then on to Press Pass beginning in 2013. And now, Tom, another venture I'm very excited about. I know you are as well. The Jack and Tom Green and Blue preview and review after games, before games, and we're going to get started in Chicago.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And actually, 2 weeks from, what is today? Friday?
Friday
So
would
2
have
weeks
been,
from
Wednesday and
yesterday.
Thursday, right?
Yeah, 2 weeks from yesterday, we'll be finishing up a 2-day hitch there, covering Michigan State and Michigan and some other Big Ten schools in those 2-day slots at the Hilton on Michigan Avenue. Looking forward to it, and it's kind of like the appetizer, and then we kind of devour it all, and then watch when camp opens, and then get excited about Labor Day weekend when it all opens up.
I think back 2 years ago in Lucas Oil Stadium, we were down on the field. And a little bit different setting than we will have this year in Chicago. But sitting there listening to Curt Cignetti, I can't imagine anyone changing opinions more in 2 years than Curt Cignetti has.
Yeah, it's amazing. That was, we had that cynical eye roll look to each other and, ha-ha and all that other good natured stuff. And, boy, he got the last laugh at least he did on me, because I didn't see it coming. And I went into a second guess mode on year number 2, and I got stung by that as well. He's a hell of a coach. It's a great program. I know a lot of Indiana people, including a couple of nieces who are IU grads, and now all of a sudden they think they invented college football, so I have to endure that a little bit. But, hey, kudos to Indiana, because they got a heck of a program right now.
Did Michigan play Indiana either of the last 2 years?
Well, they did not last year, I don't think. God, I can't remember. Was it 2 years ago? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't think they did. I'm trying to remember the game, and I can't remember it. So
I can't remember it either. It's all blur. I'm trying to wipe out and delete these last 2 years. There were some glimmers of good stuff here and there, but much more negative than positive of the 24 and 25 campaigns.
Yeah. Well, Michigan State and Michigan, 2 new coaches. When you have Pat Fitzgerald and Kyle Whittingham, I think both of them are respected in their professions. People know that you're going to get solid leadership and experience, and So I think that's going to be refreshing. But we haven't had this very often, Tom. A lot of times we've had turnover at Michigan State, less often at Michigan, kind of the opposite of basketball. But to have both new coaches at the same time, we did have that with Nick Saban and Lloyd Carr, right? And
yeah, we did, 95.
And we also had it 2 years ago with Sharon Moore and Jonathan Smith. But we haven't had many times where both teams have been breaking in new head coaches and new programs.
Yeah, it's kind of the state of intercollegiate athletics, turnover. I mean, obviously turnover, in the basketball, football in terms of the player personnel, but also turnover in coaches going to the pros and, doing switching a major school, one site to another, Lane Kiffin movement of the world and that kind of stuff. Yeah. But, it's different now, but I think both Michigan State have the perfect fit kind of coaches. They're straight shooting. They're high integrity guys. They go by the rules. They're kind of old school and strong in fundamentals. And it's going to be interesting to see how their styles of play clash when they meet November 7th in Ann Arbor.
Right.
And I'm just looking forward to see how both schools do, and Michigan State's going to get an eye-opener in week number 3 down in South Bend, and for Michigan it's week number 2 at home with Oklahoma.
Yeah, and when you look at the expectations for programs, we're all judged against expectations, Tom, and some of us have been lucky that way with the low bar, but when you think about where Michigan is, there's still a belief that this is a 10-win team for a lot of people. For some, not so much. But Michigan has road games with Ohio State and has the home game with Indiana. It has a couple of home games. It has Oklahoma at home, right? But it has a road game with Oregon.
State at home, Iowa at home.
At Oregon?
Yeah, and then Oregon on the road. They play Oregon in week number 10 or game number 10. They're out in Eugene, and then they come home, play UCLA, and then they go to Columbus. So 2 of those last 3 games are the daunting ones, the ones that you say to yourself, even if you're the most diehard, optimistic Michigan fans, well, I might let those 2 go. That's a lot to ask. And then you look at the key game is going to be Oklahoma in my mind. That one's going to be tough because when you think about it, that's a great defense that Oklahoma brings to the table, and it's week number 2 for Michigan, and where they are offensively is going to be the big issue.
I know you've said on Press Pass you think this team can win 10 games. If I told you they were going to win 9, and Vegas is saying less than that, but if we said Wolverines were going to be 9-3, would you think the 3 losses would be to Oklahoma, Oregon, and Ohio State, Indiana, Oregon, and Ohio State, or some other combination?
I hate to, jinx myself and go against Curt Cignetti again and have him burn me. Oh, by the way, I just did some fact checking on myself. They played Indiana 2 years ago down in Bloomington. It was a close game. It was
That's right.
20-15.
That's right.
And that was a critical game. That was a critical over the hump game for Indiana, a team that had not beaten Michigan. I think they're going to beat Indiana. Okay. I think Oklahoma is the one that I'm actually more concerned about right now. I think by the time they play Indiana, which is in October 24th or whatever, in the latter part of October, right after Penn State, their offense, I think, will be in a little more in sync, if you will. Oklahoma game, maybe not so as much, and I think that's the key, is trying to move the ball against that Oklahoma defense, which is going to be very good. And speaking of defenses, the Oregon defense for that front 7. I've looked at their personnel. I've studied their personnel, how good they are, and that is going to be generational level defense that the Ducks have.
On September 12th in Ann Arbor, Tom, will the best quarterback on the field that night be John Mateer or Bryce Underwood?
I don't know. I hope it's Bryce Underwood, and having Clay Detmer as his quarterback coach, and some more, and some key analysts also working with him, and having a second year. I'm hoping it's him, but it's probably going to be John Mateer, who probably will be a viable candidate for the Heisman Trophy race. So I think the issue in that game, I think Michigan's defense is pretty good. It's going to be pretty good. I think the secondary is going to be way better than people think, and I think their D-line is going to be really good with some really solid end play and some strength in the middle. But I think it's Michigan's offense. Can they move the football? And I think that's really going to be the challenge.
Tom, when Bryce said that he was the best football player ever produced in the state of Michigan, do you think the word on that got out to Eugene, Oregon, to Dante Moore?
I don't know. Words going through the air, words tweeted here and there, all that stuff.
Yeah.
I don't think it matters. I mean, it's so prevalent right now.
Yeah.
And the other element is you don't know the contents of how that conversation went and things like that. I think Bryce Underwood was referencing he might have been the best high school player of all time that came out. I mean, out of the statement. That's not taking a shot at Oregon. He's not calling out Oregon. He's not like it's not like Cam Hudson calling out Michigan basketball and saying they're going to blow them out. Or St. Louis, remember that comment? Now that's taking a jab at the program and putting them on alert. We're gonna bury you guys. It's nothing like that. It's not an attack. He's just talking about himself.
Don't want to keep coming back to Curt Cignetti, but remember at the basketball game in the Scott Center, Old Assembly Hall, when he took the mic and he said, "Purdue sucks," and he came back and said, "So did Michigan and Ohio State." You know what his record is against those three teams?
Unscathed. Well,
he lost once to Ohio State. He's 4-1.
Yeah. Well, I think there's some people will think that's being arrogant and pompous and all that other good stuff and not good character or integrity stuff. I think that he felt a need going into that program that Indiana football needed some kind of a steroid shot, if you will.
Yeah.
Because I am well aware, the people I know around Bloomington, and that program, was just dead. I mean, it had nothing going for it. I mean, it was the worst program in the Big Ten of all time, right?
Yeah.
Or one of the worst in college football. Right. And it still is in reality. But they just had these 2 years of shooting to the stars and winning that national title last year that they feel all that stuff has gone away. It's still there in my mind.
It was 136th out of 136 2 years ago. It was the absolute worst program historically in the country. And now, even after these two spectacular years, it's only passed 8 programs. So it's the 9th worst program historically, and you're getting up close to 140 teams. So, but I know what you're talking about because at the time it made big headlines, and then people said, what is he doing? George Perlis came into Michigan State, and he's no dummy. Sometimes the people think he is, but he knew how good Michigan was when he was coaching for the Steelers. He would go and he would evaluate Michigan's players every year in the spring. So he knew exactly the talent Michigan had, but he came in and he talked about pack a lunch and bring a flashlight, and they were going to, do this and that in the state. And he got it handed to him right away, right? And,
he did the knock the socks off.
Right.
Knock the socks. That was about recruiting. Yeah. That was about recruiting. And then Darryl Rogers, actually before that, stated, learned about the arrogant asses. There really are arrogant asses in Ann Arbor and all that statement. And those are clipped from maybe an alumni gathering, which is totally understandable. But especially now versus then, I mean, they're even more vulnerable to that. That stuff doesn't bother me that much.
But I think what you said about Cignetti, it applied to George. When I talked to him later, I said, George, why did you say that? I mean, you knew your team wasn't going to be able to play with Michigan the first year. They did go down to Michigan the second year and win 19-7, right?
Yeah.
But the first year, I mean, it looked like men against boys out there.
Yeah, 42-0.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Yep.
So I said, so why did you do that? He said, man, we needed a shot. We needed something.
Yeah. Yes.
So that's what you do, I guess.
Yeah, well, I mean, you have to, you got to get the juice going, even if it's, not justified. Or, you got to take a big swing at that and see if you can galvanize your fan base. And that next year with Bobby Morse, that punt return, 85 yards, and they were back in it. Year number 2, he's got everybody's attention, and from that point forward, after that game, it was like at least State won 1 out of 3 for a while.
That's right. They wound up 4-8 against Michigan. You say 4-8, that's not very good, but I mean there were a lot of teams that went 2 decades or more. Illinois, Indiana, Purdue, they didn't beat Michigan 4 times in 30 years.
Man, Michigan State lost to Michigan 8 times in a row from 1970 to 77. Those are 8. That represents 8 seasons, and then they came in the 24-15 down in Ann Arbor. So, but yeah, Perlis, at least made it. He started it with year number 2 of it being more. Yeah. More of equal footing there a little bit, especially recruiting, because he started getting good. I mean, my God, he went to the Rose Bowl 4 years later and won the Rose Bowl, which Michigan has struggled to do. So he was a hero in this state.
I have to ask you about what's going on now with the Board of Regents and the meeting they had, I believe, up in Traverse City, right? And there was no mention of the investigation by Jenner and Block. We know that it's very close to $12 million. I think the meter is still running, although it's slowed down quite a bit. And they said that was not going to be addressed. It was not. But for a lot of people who remember the pledge when this investigation was commissioned and the idea of total transparency, you think we'll ever get total transparency?
I think eventually we will. And the Jenner and Block thing, you got to keep in mind, or people need to keep in mind, that Michigan engineered that as a self-scrub to look at their culture, right?
Yeah.
And should self-evaluate, which actually a lot, companies do that. They'll bring outside consultants and take a look at themselves and they're not. I mean, this is not an NCAA investigation, which people think it is.
No.
The haters think it is. That's already been submitted. That's already, and the punishment's been rendered on that. So that little fantasy is still out there. But yeah, I mean, I got a couple thoughts here, if I could.
Yeah.
And I said this, to my Michigan media colleagues, my Michigan alumni friends close to me, that the Jim Harbaugh era could not have ended soon enough, and it was the lack of compliance. And I said the further we get away from Jim Harbaugh, the better. And because all those all those coaches that he did hire that didn't comply, that were not compliant, and it's not like flat out just death penalty caliber cheating, but Jim was indifferent to having people tell him what to do.
Yeah.
Including, not being able to, take a recruit out down to the Bun Jug for a burger during a certain part of January or whatever.
Yeah.
And he was just defiant to that. And the same thing, also, he was real loose on things. I mean, the Connor Stallions thing, the Labor Day weekend of 2023, he should have known that Connor Stallions was out there. He should have known. He should convey, you do not do that.
Yeah.
That's his guy. And to be up on the sidelines, as he was, that's just a lack of following the rules stringently like he should by Jim Harbaugh. And then for Ward, it's obviously he's been loose on. So he's done some really good things, some good hires, and my God, they've won 2 natties under him. But just, the Sherrone Moore deal, not knowing what was going on there is a little crazy. And, hey, Bo Schembechler said after his 21 years at Michigan, a head football coach should only be there about 10 years. I think an AD ought to max out at 10 years anyway.
Yeah.
Let's get somebody fresh. Got a new football coach, new basketball coach. I think it's time for a new athletic director.
Judd said the same thing, Tom. In fact, he told Izzo, should only stick around 10 years. The funny part is, the Bo was at Michigan for 21 and Judd was at Michigan State for 19, so they didn't exactly follow their own advice.
No, they didn't. They didn't, but those were long stays in a different era. It's a different era now. It's much more fatiguing, and the whole job description has changed dramatically. And Tom Izzo's having to get away from what he likes to do, coaching, just like Dusty May would rather just coach, not get into the player personnel issues and alumni fundraising that he had to do within just a couple days of winning the national title. And it's different right now, but it's unsettling. This thing keeps on going. Yeah. It's disturbing to me. I wish there was transparency, but I do know this, that there sure is a lot of haters out there spewing a lot of false information around, hoping like throwing mud at the wall that it sticks. And the problem is it sounds so real. There's some really fake news going on that I've been thrown at me, and I've broke it down and looked at the sources, and my God, that's not true. And that's just the era of the internet right now we're in.
Okay, Tom, I got a couple of messages during our segment here. One of them says, are you doing reports before or after games this season? I think the correct answer is both, right?
Those are the kind of questions I like. Absolutely, and that's the beauty of it. Like in college football, I know we're you and I and are pulling these plans together, and we got a few weeks to fine tune.
Yeah.
But ideally, something like a Thursday night, or preview or whatever it is, or maybe even doing a remote setting. Talk about the college football games for Michigan State that week, and then the post game thing where we're doing them potentially right after the game, potentially two in one day. I know the scheduling we'll have to do some combos because of the timing and logistics, but it's just going to be a pre and post evaluation, and there's quite frankly nobody better than us to do that.
The other one here, Tom, you'll remember because I think you still have a cup from our old remotes that we did that was then Beaners, now Big B's. Yeah. The guy says, fan of yours from decades ago, when are you guys going to be out on the road again? I think this guy wants us to do a road show with these podcasts. Is that something we can do?
Well, yeah, that's why I think that potentially the Thursday night, or it could be a Friday night thing. But I mean, we both do some high school coverage and things like that. Yeah. But a Thursday night at a setting would be ideal because, as I always say, everybody's a winner on Thursday night.
That's right. That's right.
Everybody's optimistic, and sometimes preview type of podcasting, broadcasting is more enjoyable than the post, the reality of what just happened. So yeah, and we're going to focus on that. We got some venues in mind and some people to talk to in the next couple of weeks, and I think that would be a strong possibility, and that'd be a lot of fun.
I'm also reminded that Jim Keaton and I think his brother Kerry are interested in getting us out on the road on Fridays before high school football games. I'm not sure exactly how that's going to work, but that's another thing I think to get out in the community. People would love to see us.
Well, I just think I think high school football in Greater Lansing has a lot of potential.
Yeah.
But I think it needs more promotion.
Yeah.
And acknowledgement. I mean, and I think you and I are the ones to do that, and obviously the Keaton brothers would be certainly as well. So that would be a heck of a thing if we can pull that together, because there's a lot of in some of these communities, like out in Westphalia for PW and Portland and DeWitt and Grand Ledge, and and East Lance. I mean, there's just, you can go on and on and on. Williamston, Mason. There's just so many where they have great high school football tradition, and we need to celebrate that more than I think has been done.
Tom Crawford, my broadcast partner for more than 24 years, a brave cancer conqueror in 2025 and 26, and going to be with me all football season for the Jack and Tom Green and Blue preview and review, and looking forward to that. Thanks a lot, Tom.
All right, Jack. It's got a good ring to it. Thanks for having me on.
Well, we'll be right back, and already seated here, resplendent in his Spartan dog shirt and his Gruff Sparty cap. We're going to talk with Jay Green. Jay was a dinner companion last night along with the fabulous Flying Nesses over at One North. Lots to talk about, Jay. We'll be right back on The Drive with Jack.
Dean Transportation is looking for compassionate people to join our team of school bus drivers and attendants. Visit deanjobs.com to see all openings. Dean Transportation provides paid training to obtain a commercial driver's license, increased starting pay, comprehensive benefits, and flexible schedules with no weekend shifts. No experience needed. Apply today at deanjobs.com and train for back-to-school season. That's DEAN jobs.com.
Jeremy, what's the move when the kids say they're bored?
Easy. Family fun night every Tuesday at One North.
Free kids meal with every entree, so dinner is handled.
And we're not just talking crayons and paper menus.
Nope. We've got Battleship, Uno, all the table game classics.
Plus, all the big stuff, Amy. Giant Yahtzee, Connect 4. It's basically game night leveled up.
Kids stay entertained. Parents actually get to relax. It's a win-win.
Great food, family vibes, and a little friendly competition.
Family fun night at One North Kitchen and Bar.
Come hungry and ready to play.
Just minutes from Petoskey, Harbor Springs, and Mackinac City, golfers will find Northern Michigan's hidden gem on Maple River Road in Brutus, the Hidden River Golf and Casting Club and Travato Restaurant.
The course offers one of Northern Michigan's most memorable golf experiences, and Travato completes your day with exceptional dining. For tee times and dinner reservations, go to hiddenrivergolf.com.
That's hiddenrivergolf.com.
Jack Ebling here with my good friend Matt Sloan at Graph of Okemos. Spring is here, and so is good news for lease customers.
You got that right, Jack. Pretty exciting news, both at Nissan and Chevy. We have a lease pull ahead starting right now. So if you're bored with your lease, too many miles, close to too many miles, you just want to get out because of a high payment, bring it in. We'll get you out of your lease and get you into something more exciting.
Stop and see Matt and the gang at Graph of Okemos. They're making friends.
So, it's been a while since you've had your jewelry cleaned and inspected, right? Where will you go and who will you trust with your most valuable and treasured heirlooms? At Meadowar Jewelers' 4 locations in Lansing, Okemos, Jackson, and Portage, jewelry isn't just our job, it's our passion. Each and every piece entrusted in our care is thoroughly inspected by our trained staff against damage or normal wear. And we offer you, our customer, the highest level of quality on repairs and custom designs. Whether it's worn out prongs, channels, or shanks, it's all handled with incredible care. Meadowar Jewelers in Lansing, Okemos, Jackson, and Portage want to help you preserve your memories and offer you options on creating new ones. Come in today for the cleaning and inspection of your jewelry. We continue to work hard every day to earn your confidence and trust.
Going to that thing. Welcome back. This is what happens when you start talking to Jay Green, right? All right, Jay, been told we have one more segment. I want to talk a little bit about what is happening now with Michigan State football, and your shirt should tell us the whole story, right? Spartan Dog Con 2022. Tell us about this whole thing.
So next weekend we have a golf outing on Friday, and then we have the con on Saturday, and it's just basically kind of like a reunion for guys to come back and interact with the coaching staff, learn a little bit about their schemes and what they plan on doing, and yeah, I think it's always a great time.
How many guys come back?
It's usually, I would say, at least 100. At least 100 guys.
How did that start?
The con, I think Darian may be one.
He was
who started
driving force.
It started with Mel, so I think he was the driving force behind that, and then it just kept going, from there. So even when he left, Kurt Richardson, who replaced him, took it over. So
the coaches will be around.
Yes.
Looking forward to that.
Yes.
And I understand that Fitz is going up to Grand Rapids Sunday.
Oh.
He and Mark D'Antonio will be there for the Michael Sadler Foundation event at Atwater Brewing, noon to 3. We had Karen Sadler, Mike's mom, on the show yesterday, and very excited about that and all the money they raised for Game Changers, which is their effort to mentor and help some troubled kids, get them on the right, perfect for you.
Right up my alley, yes.
So this is going to be a big deal, and Connor Cook's coming back, and Max is going to be there. They got a lot of former players, Benny Fowler, I think. So a lot of these guys will be back for this event. I think Allen's coming back. So they'll give some offensive linemen for him.
No, that should be it's been a great event ever since they started. I don't know how long it's been, but I know every year it's a big deal, and it should be.
Yeah.
It definitely should be.
Yeah. I want to talk a little bit about Michigan State football now. We're not far from the start of practice, but you saw a lot more of the spring than I did.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't over there for those 6:30 sessions. I was there for the interviews after. Based on what you saw, what's the one thing that most Spartan fans will not understand or won't know until the opener?
Man, I don't think that people understand how intense our coach is.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that I always look at and kind of marvel at, especially.
You think he wakes up that way, or does he need like 6 pints of coffee?
I think he wake up that it feels like it's natural.
Yeah.
It really feels like it's natural because every time, even when he's doing the calm version of it, you can still feel it. So that's the one thing that I think that people will like and appreciate is his intensity and how much he cares and really loves this place and really wants to do well here. That's what I think that people will take away.
Even with that as a given, still takes players, still takes talent.
Yeah.
And a lot of people hoping for more out of the portal than they got, hoping for more in the first recruiting class than they have seen so far. Is that an unreasonable expectation?
I think people going to always have unreasonable expectations. I think it's definitely unreasonable because he didn't really have time. It's a lot that goes into recruiting nowadays. It's not just how it was and how he was used to it before he left. It's a whole different ball game, and he has to get acclimated to it. His staff has to get acclimated to it, as well as, figuring out what's going on around here and what they can and can't do. Like, it's a whole lot that goes into it. So
yeah,
I think that they have done a great job of, getting information and asking questions when they needed to be asked. I think they've done a great job of making us feel welcome as former players, and I'm excited to see what's going to happen.
I think when you're recruiting top-level players or higher-level players, initially, unless you're really doing some funny business, you're going to finish second a bunch because they just lost a player and lose them because they never had him. But they didn't land a player who went out to Oregon. It was a terrific tight end from the state of Michigan. But he said no to a lot of other schools, and all of the schools that were in consideration had more of a recent record to show than Michigan State. So Fitz is selling the dream, right? And he can't say, we're in the college football playoff every year, or, we're going to win the Big Ten championship while you're here. He can say it, but still got to prove it. So when you're in that situation, until you get the receipts, then you're selling a dream.
No, I agree, but I think the other thing is that we're talking about a person who probably did more with as little as anybody in the past few years because Northwestern was not a football school, and he didn't have a lot of top recruits that he was coaching when he was there. So I think that, again, it's going to be a process as far as, getting his program in place and his process in place so that, the machine can start rolling. Of course, I don't think anybody really coming in, especially coming here, can really expect a big recruiting year no matter who it is. I think that's just, sports is different. College sports is different now, and it's based around money. They just started Spartan Ventures July 1st, and I feel like that's going to have a big impact on what we do moving forward athletically. So,
I think it's the last 20 years. I could be wrong. Could be 25 years. And the study was done on the programs that started the season outside the top 25 and then vaulted into the top 25, and those who underperformed, according to the preseason polls. And Northwestern surprised more often than other teams, and Michigan disappointed more often than other teams, ranked high because of the respect level and the thought that they never lose, and then they're 8-4 or whatever. And Northwestern might be 8-4 or 9-3, but people assume they're going to be a losing team because they're Northwestern. No. So sometimes it takes a while for opinions to catch up to reality.
No, and I think that eventually, again, once people see the product that's on the field, which I feel like will be better, I feel like just from seeing practice, I feel like we'll be a whole lot more disciplined, and we won't have as many petty penalties or not small penalties, but penalties that we shouldn't have at the end of the day. I think that we'll be better coached. And that's no slight to the previous coaching staff. From what I've seen, you can just tell the difference. And like I always say, I just don't feel like anybody can be on that field and not match his intensity.
Last night, we had dinner at One North with Brian and Jackie Ness from Boise, Idaho.
Yes.
They're up here now for a while in Gaylord, but they were down here yesterday. They were on a personal mission. Big fans of Ashton Henderson.
Yes.
And trying to advance his cause, his case, to be director of athletics. What did you have at One North? You had shrimp, right?
Shrimp and grits.
How was that?
It was pretty good. It's not so. Usually I'm jambalaya is my thing.
Yeah.
They take
it's coming back.
Yeah, it's coming back. So I gotta replace it and
branch out a little bit.
You know how it is. The replacement isn't as good as the original. Yeah. So
if it was the best, it'd be first team, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
So I had the shrimp scampi, same idea, but prepared a little differently with pasta.
But I've never had anything bad from One North. I've tried different things there, and I've never had anything bad.
And we had the coach's corner. We had the private room.
Yes.
So that was great.
Felt important.
Yeah.
Felt very important.
It was very, very busy there last night.
Yeah, I thought it was like a coach's show. Because I'm thinking that I'm going to be able to pull up and find a parking spot, but I wound up going over behind the bank down the hill and parking over there. So
they had more than 100 people just on the patio. They had some kind of a party over there. They'd reserved it. And I mean, it was jam, and it was going late. When we left, it was still alive over there. So
no, I'm sure as I went to sleep, they were still partying.
I have to ask you about what's going on at the University of Michigan. We just had Tom Crawford on, and he blamed a lot of it on the Jim Harbaugh era. He said that there's a lot of misinformation, a lot of haters out there too. Do you think we're ever going to get total transparency with this situation?
No. I mean, we had a conversation where we talked about the fact that they spent $12 million on the investigation but didn't even get like a printout of said investigation. So they basically were just told what the findings were, but weren't able to read it and, kind of go over it for themselves.
If you paid $12 million for a report, wouldn't you want to have like a printed copy of it, or did they not want a printed copy?
A printed copy, a zip drive, another backed up copy, and and a couple more copies after that.
Maybe by not having it, then people can't FOIA it, right?
No,
guess it's protection.
It's definitely calculated, and like I always tell you, these things come out, but I just never feel like anything is going to happen, because when you look at all of the stuff that's happened that they've done and nothing has come of it, and so again, we go back to talking about money, and you talking about one of the biggest money makers in college sports, and I just don't see them doing something to them that's going to cut off the money of college sports.
We talked a little bit about the Hall of Fame and the inductions. Again, we did have Tico Duckett on for just a couple minutes yesterday on from Forest Acres. He was out there for the Lansing Promise outing. And today we had Kalen Lucas and Lindsey Bowen on. But there are people who are not in yet, and many who are not in. And with 23 sports, that number grows every year. It doesn't get smaller. But you had a candidate or two, one in particular in football, and you were asking why he isn't in. And sometimes it's not this guy did this and this guy did this, and it's not comparing statistics. Sometimes it's not even comparing contributions. But some guys are kind of a little under profile, and others are maybe they create a bigger name. Who were you saying that definitely should be in the Hall of Fame?
I felt like Courtney Hawkins should be in the Hall of Fame.
Okay, tell our listeners why.
For one, he is the first 1,000-yard receiver in MSU history, and when you look at the list of receivers that has come through here, that's a huge feat. I mean, even at the time, you're talking about Mark Ingram, Darrell Turner, Andre Wright, a bunch of Flint guys that came before.
Before that, Gene Washington, Kirk Gibson,
yes.
All-Americans, multi-time All-Americans, right?
Yes. And this is at a time where, I mean, you know how much Coach Perlis wanted to run the ball. He would run the ball every play if he could. So to be able to accomplish the things that he was able to accomplish under those circumstances, I think definitely deserves it. You gave me a better understanding of kind of like what the process is. I think a lot of people think that a lot of things as far as these go should be cut and dry, because like I was telling you last night, I didn't realize that Sam Vincent wasn't in the Hall of Fame, which I kind of thought was crazy.
Hadn't been.
But when you kind of understand the process and what it's like and who may be even a part of the process, you kind of understand, and it makes sense.
If you make a list of, is this person worthy of being in the Hall of Fame, men and women, in all the sports, not just the high-profile sports. Now, this year, they've corrected a problem for a long time, is track and cross-country had been underrepresented, dramatically underrepresented. Lots of athletes, lots of championships, almost no representation. So I think that with 3 members going in from the track and cross-country community, I think that's changed things a little bit. But if you made that list of everyone who was deserving, you would have enough Hall of Famers to get you to about 2180.
No, I agree. And like you pointed out last night, every year the list grows.
Yeah.
And I guess the other thing is that I don't even know what the criteria is for being in the Hall of Fame. Like, I know that for jerseys retired, I understand what the criteria is, but as far as being in the Hall of Fame, I don't even know what the exact criteria is.
You know what? Let's get that from Matt Larson.
Okay.
He would know exactly what the definition is of a Hall of Famer and how that is determined, the process, the vote. In the past, it hasn't been a big deal. It's just been the people who've gotten in, this, good for you, and the people who haven't, they say, sorry, come back next year. But eventually, people get their feelings hurt. The former Michigan State Director of Athletics, I suggested a long, long time ago that Michigan State should have an Athletic Hall of Fame. I'd seen the one down at Indiana University, and I said, this is perfect for Michigan State and its proud history. And the guy said, yeah, no way. You come in here and take all the calls from the people who don't get in, right? So you're always going to have unhappy people. You're always going to have frustrated people, backers of solid candidates, but everybody can't get in.
Yeah, but that's kind of how life is.
Yeah,
you know? that's
right.
That's how life is.
And how many people want a job, right, in a company, but
or want to be rich?
Or, exactly.
Yeah,
and it's sometimes it's not fair.
Life is never fair.
There you go.
And life is never fair.
Exactly. What do you got going this weekend?
Oh, not much. I got an open house to go to tomorrow.
You got a lot of open houses, man. Yeah. Is that ever going to end? We're into second half of July.
I always wonder, do they invite me just to get money or because they really like me that much?
Well, they probably like you, but why are these so late now?
I don't know.
These people have been out of school for 2 months.
Honestly, Jack, I'm just glad that I'm not hosting. So that's how I look at it, because the people who actually put these things on, like it's a lot.
Yeah,
it's a lot. So I'm just glad that I'm able to show up, do whatever I'm doing, and I'm able to leave peacefully and go back home and make it in bed.
And you were talking about eating at these things. You got a strategy for that too, right?
Yeah. Well, it depends on what the food is, because I can't say that every open house that I go to I eat, because sometimes the food
you don't like the food.
Yeah. Which is fine, because.
But you can honestly say, I'm sorry, I'm stuffed because I eat at the last 3 open houses.
No, I know, Jack. I'm all about honesty, so I'll just be like, no, I'm fine. I'll eat later.
You don't say, honestly, if you had better food, I'd eat.
No, I won't do that. It's a way that you can do it, and
that's right,
nice
without insulting somebody.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
All right. Well, I will definitely see you next Friday.
Yes.
Out at Brookshire.
Mm-hmm.
Looking forward to that. That's going to be big fun.
Yes.
And see some people we haven't seen in a long time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hear some of the same stories.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, it'll be fun.
I actually have a few books left I could take out there and just.
That's a great
there's certain
idea.
people who probably could use one.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Want to thank all of our guests. Want to thank Boston Rob for his work all week too. Put him through the ringer with the Lansing Promise golf outing. And then today, trying to realize that the show wasn't over. Want to thank Kalen Lucas for joining us. He and Morris Peterson, the only players to lead Michigan State scoring 2 years when the team went to Final Fours. And no one at University of Michigan has done that, by the way. I also want to thank Lindsey Bowen, pride of Dansville. Always great to talk to Lindsay, and now she is a mental coach dealing with the aspects of basketball, not the actual shooting, of which she was one of the best ever at Michigan State. Appreciate her joining us. Deshaun Tate, our Lansing-bred Atlanta-based basketball savant. Tate's Take Hoops, where basketball lives. Tom Crawford, Blue Belly Tom. You'll see him again very soon on Press Pass. And Jay Green. Have a great weekend, everyone. See you Sunday night.